Njpac is the center of it all for incredible performances and events in classical music, pop, cabaret, dance, comedy, films, and much more.
Here we go.
Discover our exciting new season at Njpac.org. On Sunday, November 30th, see jazz legends Gary Peacock and Jack P. celebrating over 30 years of making music together. On Tuesday, December 2nd, spend an evening with Neil deGrasse Tyson, world-famous astrophysicist and star of Fox's Cosmos. On Saturday, January 10th, best-selling author and comedian
music performing on set. During my administration, way back in 1986, I had a dream, and that was to build a world-class arts center and to do it in Newark. Now that wonder has become a reality. I'm sure you'll agree with me that New Jersey and Njpac are perfect together. Now, here are a few executive orders. I'd like you to turn off all electronic and mobile devices. Please refrain from using flash photography at any recording equipment during the performance. For your safety, observe the nearest emergency exit. In the event of an emergency, please remain calm and follow instructions. Thank you. Enjoy this performance. I'm sure you will.
Available 3 o'clock, like 2 weeks ago.
Can't believe I dropped my phone now. Oh, that's them singing. The music right now was from something him and Carell did. That's them singing. It was about Sully Sullenberger.
We're very, very excited that you're all here. By coming tonight, as you guys know, Evie and Stephen are among the founders of the film festival. They've been so generous over the years. This is the 4th time that Stephen Colbert has done a fundraiser for this organization. Each year they get bigger and better, and we could not sustain our organization without his support, without Evie Colbert's vision. So I just need a big round of applause for Evie. So before we begin, I just wanted to give you guys a chance to check out a few minutes of the Montclair Film Festival, and Stephen will be right with us. Thank you again for coming. We couldn't do it without you. Enjoy your evening. Thank you.
Please welcome your host for the evening, Stephen Colbert.
Good evening. I'm Stephen Colbert. Welcome everyone to the 4th annual Montclair Film Festival annual benefit celebrity night fundraiser. I am Stephen Colbert, celebrity. Montclair celebrity, and I'm saying something. Thank you so much for being here. For those of you who are here only for the celebration and don't know the Montclair Film Festival, as Tom was saying before, please come. It is 10 days this year. It has grown exponentially from year to year. We had 16,000 people this past year, come 30,000 people at all of our events in Montclair over the past year. It's 10 days from May 1st to May 10th. It's so much fun. Please come. And thank you so much for being here tonight. I love doing these. I've been able to talk to some of my good friends, Jon Stewart, Jimmy Fallon, and now tonight Steve Carell, who, If you haven't seen Foxcatcher, you have to see it. It is the most remarkable movie, the most remarkable performance by everyone in it, but especially by Steve, who everyone perceives as this, knows as a very funny man. But those of us who have known him for many years know that he's also a deeply dedicated, focused, beautiful actor. He is, and not just any actor. The striking thing about working with Steve is how dedicated he is, that he can be the biggest actor and the smallest actor. He can be the loudest actor and the softest actor. He can be the most familiar face and the most disturbing presence in the room. And before we sit down with Steve and talk about his career tonight and answer some of your questions, we'd like to show you a little clip reel of some of the things that Steve and I have done together over the years that hopefully shows you both the familiar and the disturbing.
And now, waiters who are nauseated by food.
Good evening. My name is Roger. This is my back waiter Stuart, and we'll be serving you this evening. Do you need a few minutes before ordering?
Actually, could you tell us the specials?
Okay. Our soup today is a creamy fish chowder with chunks of potatoes, corn, and scallops. $7.95. We have a milk-fed veal with a mint jelly that comes with asparagus tips and an olive caper sauce.
No, this is different. Only 7.
In the spirit of spring break, we now turn our attention to the issue of responsible drinking. It's a thorny issue, one often poorly addressed in our schools, in our homes, and in our beer commercials. In what seemed like a good idea at the time, we tested the effects of massive quantities of alcohol on a human subject. Specifically, Steve Carell. Please remember, Steve is a trained professional. Do not attempt this at home.
It is 9:35. Let's get started. Very good. Give me in the chest. Just punch me. I don't want to. Punch me in the chest. Do you still think?
So, just to recap, in the course of an evening of drinking, Steve lost his motor skills, his judgment, a good portion of his inhibitions, and ultimately threw up in my car on the way home. Do you still think this was a good idea?
Yes, Stephen, I believe it was. Because if what I went through by doing all of this convinces even one person to drink responsibly, one person to think twice before ordering that next round, one person to just say no when they've had enough, then by God, I hope that one person is me. Really, really sorry about your car. I thought the window was open.
Well, it wasn't. You just made me vomit in my own mouth. What's the weather like up there in that? Tonight's question, reality-based TV. Does America really need more?
Yes!
No!
Yes!
Tonight's topic, Halloween.
No! Yes!
No! Tonight's topic,
Dutch prostitutes, do they deserve governmental protection? Yes! What?
stupid thing to say, and you're a stupid person for saying it.
Unlike someone I could name, I am not a big fan of people dying. So I say, stem cell research, yes. Neurological disorders, no.
Steve, let's not have this disintegrate into yet another series of personal attacks, okay, Fatty?
Wow, you are taking this so personally, Stephen. You'd think this was a tax on pompous windbags who make me sick, you fat ass. Shut up! Shut up! Puppy dogs and ice cream! Lightning round! 2 words, Stephen. Dow 10,000. Whitewater. Welfare reform. Monica Gate. 8 years of peace. Shut the f*** up! Shut up! Shut up! Did you even trick or treat as a kid?
That's not something my family did.
Ring my doorbell.
I don't think so.
Ring the doorbell.
I don't want to.
Go ahead. Ding dong! Oh, who could that be? Clunk, 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 clunk. Oh! Hey! How adorable! And who are you?
A correspondent.
I am a very scary correspondent. What do you say?
I don't know.
I
don't know what to do. Oh, I can't.
No.
I love you, Steve.
I hate you.
Trick or treat!
Little baby, don't say I was gonna buy you a mockingbird.
You know, I've been giving this some thought, and, well, maybe we need to commentate with other people.
Have you been working with CNN's Robert Novak?
Bob appreciates me.
I can smell him on you.
Yes! No! Yeah! No! Yeah!
Steve, don't you see? There is a deeper reality that transcends what you and I may debate here at this desk. Don't you know in your heart of hearts that we all bask in his eternal light?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yes! I'm right! You're wrong, and I'm right! I win!
When you agree with me... No, don't shush me! When you agree with me, it makes it impossible for me to say anything back to you. I don't even know what to say! Why do you disagree with me?
Okay, I think you're wrong.
Insult me.
I think you're an ass.
You don't really mean that.
I think you're an ass. Oh, is that a smile? I see a smile.
I hate you. I'm Steve Carell. I'm Stephen Colbert. And this has been Even Steven.
Ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Colbert and Steve Carell.
Well, Steve Carell as I live and breathe. So, haven't seen you much in the last 10 years. What's been up?
Nothing much. Wish you had found a bigger venue.
Steve, thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
How much of what we just saw do you remember? That first one from 1993, that is from 21 years ago.
Yeah.
Did you remember that song in auto?
I do, yeah. I think that's one of the better Second City songs that we did.
I think it's one of the greatest songs of all time. Fantastic camera work at the same time.
Yeah.
How long, let's see, I first saw you on stage in 19 88, I think.
Right.
When did you start at Second City? How long have we known each other?
I think we met around then, like 87-ish. You were my understudy.
That was the first gig I had was understudying Jeremy Piven. And then I understudied you on main stage. I had to learn to play the baritone horn. And you play all kinds of brass instruments. That's something that people don't know about Steve Carell, is that besides being a very talented actor, you don't sing much, right? You don't sing much we haven't seen you sing much on TV shows or movies. Or
in Foxcatcher, I sing. It's a musical, forgot to tell you. Yeah, it's Foxcatcher with an exclamation mark.
He's wrestling Mandy Patinkin. The whole thing's in a minor chord. And you played baritone horn. You played brass instruments.
Right, it's like a miniature tuba, and you don't play.
I had never touched a brass instrument in my life. And you had like a Brown's Chicken commercial. Or like you were in Curly Sue or something. You were in some movie.
Yeah.
And Carell was going to be out, and would I want to understudy you? And I said, yeah, that would be great. The director came to me and they said, can you play a baritone horn? And I said, what is a baritone horn? And they said, oh, we'll have Scott Adsit do it. And I said, I'll do it! And they wouldn't even rent me a baritone horn. I had to go get my own horn. And you and a guy named John Romano, a wonderful singer and trumpet player, wrote out by hand all the fingerings on the horn. And 6 days later, I had to go in for you.
And you nailed it.
I slept with that baritone. I have nightmares. To this day, you had to sing you had to do Anchors Away.
Right.
But only the bass line to Anchors Away.
Right.
To this day, I can't remember how Anchors Away goes. Because all I remember is ba 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 I thought I was the only person who woke up screaming that song. Okay, so now you're Mr. Big, dramatic actor with Foxcatcher, which we'll get to in a moment. Why did you first go into performing? Because I first knew you, was that your first professional gig, Second City?
Yeah, I mean, I'd done some theater in Chicago. Not
like straight theater?
Straight theater. I did some musicals. I did some.
Ooh, like what did you do?
I did an original musical called Njpac Private Eye.
Were you Njpac Private Eye?
I wasn't. I played 14 different characters. And it was pretty terrible. And but yeah, I kicked around and I just did theater in Chicago. But that was the first sort of paying job.
Did you want to be a comedian or did you want to be an actor?
I wanted to be an actor.
Because people may not know that, like, for some people, not for everybody, there's a divide there. Right. Some people go to be comics, like stand-up. Some people really want to be improv or sketch artists.
No.
And some people want to be an actor.
I don't think doing stand-up, I couldn't have done that. I couldn't
Me either.
Regaled. I think you could have.
I don't think so, no. I think I admire people who can go out there, but I really like playing with somebody else.
Me too.
Like now, this is all improv.
Yeah, it's good.
So how did you get involved in Second City? Did you know about it? Were you like, oh, I want to be on that stage?
When I was in college, a Second City touring company came around, and I thought, that looks like the most fun ever. Especially at the end of the show, when the cast said, if anybody wants to go out for a beer, and then they named the bar, and you'd meet them later on.
And now we know why they said that.
Yes, we do.
So that the audience would buy them liquor. Right. It was the old trick when we were both the touring company.
Right.
And you would, at the end of the show, you would say, you know, we're the Second City, individually we are, and then the last person would say, we'll be across the street at the bar. And then you would just wait there until someone would come in and go, let me buy you a beer. And then come in the first 20 minutes, you would go back to the hotel.
That's right. Go back.
Yeah. How long did you tour?
About 6 months.
Okay. 2.5 years. 2.5 years, yeah. Before I understudied you, it was 2.5 years.
Well, that was a good experience for you.
Okay, so you remember the Second City, and like for comedy, that's a great gig.
Great. It's one of the best jobs in Chicago.
I think it's the highest paying equity salary in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
No.
pay better than good.
That was a dream, to be able to, the day that I quit waiting tables in 1988.
Where did you wait?
Hard Rock Cafe in Chicago.
Oh, the food there is fantastic. the crabs, Eddie Van Halen. Are treatable with a fungicide.
Steven Tyler guac and chips.
Did you have to be rock and rolly? Did you like have to wear like a rock and roll outfit or something?
All white. The only thing you could choose of your own was your tie.
Was there like even like a flying V guitar pin or anything?
Oh yeah, we had swag.
Flash.
We had the flash. We had the we had all sorts of hard rock pins and there were, the best thing about working there were I think 50 or 60 waitresses and 3 waiters. So that was good. But the day that I got to say I actually have a job acting, and that's
what did you quit for the touring company, or did you quit for a resume company?
For the touring company.
Touring company. Wow.
And that was enough.
You were living thin because we paid $75 a performance.
That was it. But that was enough. And you know what? And that to me was the success. That to me was being successful as an actor. That's what I said as my bar. If I can make enough to survive as an actor, I made it. That was really it. And after that, that really was my goal. And after that, you sort of have to reevaluate your life.
We can at least call your folks and say, "Hey, I'm actually doing it. I'm actually an actor. This is what I do for a living."
Yeah.
There's nothing on my W-2 except, being funny.
They kept thinking that I was going to go to law school.
Did you keep thinking? Did you at any point say, you know what? I've made a horrible mistake. I'm going to take the LSATs. Never? No nervous breakdown, no need for medication, no what have I done with my life? I'll never be able to have children. No one works in this industry.
No, you know what? I never felt that way. Because I had...
To hell with you.
Exactly.
Wow, no, you didn't worry.
No, and they were so supportive. They, if they were worried, they kept it to themselves.
Did they ever tell you later, like, what did they say, like, we always knew, or did they like, for a while there, we weren't sure?
No, they weren't sure. They still might not be sure. I am not.
Please tell me you're acting, Stevie. Please tell me you're acting.
No, I think, they were just very supportive. When I was at that crossroads of, am I going to go to law school? Am I going to try to move to Chicago and give it a shot?
Where were you living before?
I was living at home. After college, I went back home for about 6 months, and I got a job as a rural mail carrier in Littleton, Massachusetts. It was pretty good. I made enough money to buy my parents a new dishwasher. I got so sick of my dad trying to fix our dishwasher. Because he was a handyman! I was sick of doing the dishes. Just have the thing fixed professionally, or let's buy a new one.
Well, your dad is not just a handyman. Your dad was an electrical engineer.
He was a heat transfer engineer.
Heat transfer engineer.
Yeah.
And your mom was a nurse.
Right.
So, was there anybody else in your family perform?
No, not at all.
Where did it come from, do you think?
I don't know.
From
the gods!
Really? Was there a moment when you said, oh, I kind of want to do that?
Second grade.
What was happening? What was the show?
It was an in-class presentation of the Native Americans and the Pilgrims. First Thanksgiving.
and we're in Massachusetts here, so we're really close.
We were in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Really close.
You could perform that any day of the year legally in Massachusetts. There's always a rehearsal. Mom, where's my buckle hat? Going to prom. Okay, so
I think that is the term for it.
These people work so goddamn hard they had to buckle their hats on. It's illegal in England, that's why they left. So you saw on stage, were you in it? You were not in the play.
I was in, well, it was a little in-class presentation, so I was in it. I was a Native American.
Yeah.
And I will never forget it. We was miming, we were sitting in chairs, and I was paddling the canoe. And I paddled one side, and I mimed. I paddled on the other side, and then I went. And I didn't think twice about it. It was just sort of my instinct to, well, you have to paddle on both sides of the table. And I'll never forget, Mr. Blackman said, see what Steve did? He paddled on both sides so he doesn't go in a circle.
I'm good at something!
I couldn't do this!
Mom, I found it! I can mime paddle. Is there a business that requires that?
I can make money at this, exactly. So that was it. That was the first taste of it that I got.
And then you were like the kid who does plays at school?
Not really. I mean, I would do plays, but I never thought of it in terms of a career. I really didn't, because I always thought that's like saying, oh, I want to be an astronaut or
a pirate.
Exactly. It didn't seem like a legitimate choice. Especially because my parents had invested so much in me and my education, like all of us. I felt like I owed them more.
Have you met any astronauts?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so there you are at Second City. And so that's where we first met. The thing I remember about you at Second City was improvisation and comedy sometimes can attract people who are very funny but maybe facile. They don't actually work very hard. Things come easily to them. And as a result, like maybe they don't go any further in their career, I have found at times, no matter how talented they are. But the thing I remember about you, besides your talent, your ability to make just about anything funny, is that you never phoned it in. You always gave 100%. You always wanted to look exactly right for the piece. You never, we had this sort of phrase where it was like, fuck around Fridays? And you were not a huge fan of fuck around Fridays because like, no, we're doing the script. We worked hard to get it right, and
so I was a dick.
you were not a dick. I fucked around more than you did. But it was really, I could really respect what you were doing. You never phoned it in. You always gave 100%. And I'm not in any way surprised at your success as a result, because you already had the talent. And the thing that differentiates people between talent and somebody who makes it is using your talent. You used your talent and you made it into something else. So the next thing that you did, or the next thing that we did together, because if you didn't do it with me, I don't care. We did the Dana Carvey show together.
Yeah.
And that was a show that we didn't know was doomed from the cradle. Tell me, what do you remember about the process of getting that gig? Because it was a big deal.
Huge deal. And everybody got called in.
Dana was the biggest star in comedy at the time.
Enormous, and it was something that, all of our friends wanted to, we all auditioned.
3 or 4 callbacks. Chicago, New York, Los Angeles.
I remember the final audition was in Los Angeles.
At a terrible comedy club in an asphalt parking lot.
And I remember, do you remember when I came up to you?
Well, I remember seeing you and going, damn it. Because I knew they wouldn't hire you. I knew they were going to hire you. I'm like, oh, damn it, Carell's here. They're going to hire
I
you.
felt the same way. I was like, oh, well, if they want somebody good, they're going to go with him. They're not going to go with, like, 2 of the same sort of kind of guys.
Right.
I remember you were outside before you were going to go in and do your...
Yeah, we had to stay outside. It was a very hot Los Angeles day, and they had everybody. The waiting room to audition was just an asphalt parking lot.
Yeah.
It was like,
yeah,
just cars going by, just sucking in dust. And everyone's like, in circles going... Everyone's working on their bit because you're supposed to go in and do as many characters and ideas as you can do in a short period of time. Like, people are underdressing, they're like a t-shirt over a leotard, over a pirate costume, anything, everything you ever knew how to do, you were going to do for those guys, because it was Robert Smigel, who had been the original executive producer of Conan, and was a legendary comedy writer. Louis C.K., who at the time nobody knew, but he was out in the world. He was the head writer. Dana Carvey, of course, who was It on a Stick. He'd just come up with Wayne's World.
And the writing staff that they assembled included Charlie Kaufman And I mean,
Robert Carlock was 30 Rock.
Right.
The head writer for Letterman, Steve O'Donnell, Spike Feresten, who had written the Soup Nazi, Seinfeld, Bob Odenkirk, David Cross. It was a crazy group of people. And all of them wanted to write on the show, and then us.
I remember though you were waiting outside to go in. And
I was a little shoot before they went in.
And I came up to you, and I should have known better. And I said, I just engaged you in conversation. For some reason, I was like, hey, so what you doing? And I remember you going, Steve, right now, no.
The stage writer going, man, like this.
And I'm like, so, pretty hot out in the parking lot, right? Just ruining your concentration.
Hey, you want to count backwards from 100?
I felt, and then you walked in and I thought, oh, I'm such an asshole. I didn't mean to do that to you, but
and we both got the gig. We both got it, yeah. That was crazy.
It was really fun.
Yeah, boy. How unemployed were you at the time?
Pretty desperate.
Yeah, I didn't have a job, my wife didn't have a job, and we just had a baby. I was super unemployed.
I called you.
Yeah, you're the one, because they hired him like 2 days before me, or 1 day before me, and Evie was out, and I was in Chicago in our place on North Pine Grove, or something like that, right? Behind the Elks Lodge. And Madeline was asleep in her crib, and you called and said, hey, I'm here with the guys.
Yeah, Robert Smigel said, do you want to call him? Do you want to call him and tell him?
Yeah. Because there's nothing better than calling somebody, give them a gig. And you told me, I was so excited that I put Madeline down, I put her down, I ran, she's a brand new baby, I ran into the hallway, closed the door, went to the back room, closed the door, went into the bathroom, closed the door, went into the shower, closed the door, and so here. No job is worth waking a baby. So that show was fantastic.
It was ahead of its time.
It really was. They'd still cancel it now. But I feel worse about it. ABC gleefully canceled it after 7 episodes. Only 7 made it to air.
Yeah.
Remember we did This Week with David Brinkley on a roller coaster? We actually went to the Great American Screen Machine. And I was David Brinkley, and you were the Japanese ambassador, and Dana Carvey was George Bell. And we shot it on the Great American Screen Machine with a camera mounted right here, and we had to do it in one take because there's no angles, and we're doing this. Wow! The idea was that everybody on This Week with David Brinkley was so old and had their heads so far up their own butts that they didn't even notice they were on a roller coaster. They were going to try to get the youth market.
And absolutely no change in Steven's affect at all.
And Dana Carvey, as George Will, throws up all over. I think you can buy the DVD. It wasn't broadcast. Treat yourself.
Treat yourself. That's the stocking stuff.
Because of my advanced age, I'm incapable of showing emotion. Else, surely I would be screaming like a giddy little girl. As you would say, go again! That's right. So we did that for the 7 shows. Thought that was going to be it. Dana Carvey, he was saying to us like, this is it. If you've got any devices, get them on your. Because tomorrow, the first show, you guys are going to be so famous, you're not going to know what to do with yourself.
Yeah.
The first show came on, and we immediately knew we were out of a job.
Right.
And you realized that you and I needed to get another job.
The specific moment? No, I think I held on to it a little longer than you did.
Danny came and spoke to me immediately.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the opening scene.
Well, the very first scene of the Dana Carvey show involved Bill Clinton, who was then president, with a prosthetic chest, like breastplate, with 8 or 10 nipples.
He looked like Diana of Ephesus, like the Greek god.
Yeah. And he opened his shirt to reveal these nipples that lactated. And the idea of the sketch was to show that he was the most nurturing of presidents.
I hope that will feed the world. You understand? We're on like 8:30.
We're on after Home Improvement. And they brought out 10 golden retriever puppies. Real puppies. Suck on his teeth. Suckling on his at his teeth.
There's nothing to be ashamed of.
That's the way I felt, but America did not agree.
Yeah, I really felt like, oh yeah, that's good. We can write stuff like that. Dana came in the next day and goes, I'm so sorry. Because I'm so sorry. You guys should have worked for SNL. You guys would have been great. I've ruined your careers.
Apparently, they tracked the audience rating, and as
minute by minute, like or second by second.
Second by second, and it started at whatever numbers.
Back then, we had like 27 million people,
and by the end of it,
he lost like 14 million people.
Yeah. Within that
within 30 seconds of opening the show, and then never came back. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
We ended up as one of the I think our average rating for the year was 14 million people.
Right.
Today, anywhere in Hollywood would step on a baby's finger for 14 million people. We were a huge failure.
Yeah. No. But it was fun, and it was a great experience, and I got to work with you again.
Right. It was nice. And once again, we had puppies next to each other at Second City. Did we do Northwest, or we only do Main Stage together?
I think we did just Main Stage.
We did just Main Stage together. I want to show them something that we did on Main Stage. I'm gonna hold off for a second because there's so much. But there's a scene we did together called Maya, which was maybe the craziest and the best scene I ever did live on stage with anybody. And it was a scene that Steve and I improvised. The other cast members the night of. The very first time we did it, we improvised it, and what you will see is word for word what we improvised, which never happened before or since for me.
No.
And so it's kind of a special thing. What we've got here is the 50th anniversary Second City night. We went back and did it like 4 years ago there. It was a ton of fun. Okay, so Carvey's canceled. Now what are you doing? You're knocking around?
I went back to Los Angeles, and I was just kicking around. I did a few really bad sitcoms that lasted.
You did Over the Top?
Well, that's true. I did do Over the Top.
You did the finest bad sitcom of all time.
It was Annie Potts and Tim Curry, and I was the crazy Greek chef at a hotel that Annie Potts was the general manager of. And my character's name was Yorgo Galphonikos.
And the director would say to you, can you do it any bigger? Every choice that Steve would make, and as I said before, Steve can be the smallest actor or the largest, or the quietest actor or the loudest. But he asked you to turn every dial, all just to 11, and then just tear it off.
And the worst part of it, and I'd never done a sitcom before, and the worst
Really?
part
That was the first one you did?
That was the first one I'd done. And
treat yourself to YouTube. You can get clips of it on YouTube.
That I wouldn't do. Part of the trap with doing a sitcom is you have a live audience, and you'll do it several times. So by the third or fourth take, the audience has seen it, they know the jokes, they're not going to laugh. So that prompts you to try to make them laugh using the same dialogue. And usually that means
bigger.
Yeah. And more grotesque. And I was a grotesque character in that show.
Well, the greatest thing is that you read to me the greatest review of all time. And it was from TV.com or something.
Yeah, something.
I forgot who the guy was who wrote it.
It was.
The review was so wonderful that I asked him to be a writer on my show.
Did you really?
I did. I called the cat up. In the review, he says in the review of Over the Top, and Steve read it to me. I look like I'm popping this on him. He read this to me right when we started working together on the Daily Show again. So The guy said the moment that Steve came on the screen, the reviewer said, he went scrambling over his ottoman looking for the TV guide, screaming, what the hell is that? And then he said that while Tim Curry, may be rude with a terrible performance, not even Hitler was able to cheese off all the Western powers and the Soviet Union without Himmler. Well, Tim Curry has his Himmler. Something like that, right? Then it goes on. The review just goes on and on. He just digs down. He just all the joy.
I have seen a woman give birth. I have seen
a man's face pulled back over his forehead. I have stood in a morgue full of dead people, but until I saw Steve Carell over the top, I have never known true horror. I loved it so much that when my show, when I was first looking for writers, I called the cat. I found Peter Coe or something like that. I called him up and I said, hey, I've got this review. I'm like, would you want to write? I'm doing this new show. Would you want to write for it? He goes, no, that's all right. Please just send me a packet. I really love your writing. No, didn't want to. Really? Didn't want to. What an idiot. Yeah. Well, so then this thing called The Daily Show comes along.
Well, you got me The Daily Show.
Well,
you called me up and said, "What do you want to take a crack at this?" They're looking for correspondence, and I really owe you. That was a big deal for me, and you got me that job for sure.
You got you that job because I didn't do anything other than say you have to look at Steve Carell because they kept on saying to me, I worked with The Daily Show before John was there, when Craig Kilborn was there. And then John took over and they really needed correspondence. And I said, what about Steve Carell? And they said, yeah, we've heard of him. What's he do? What's he done? At that point, they sort of felt like we should have people with, have a little more experience. And I said, oh, he's great. Second City and Carver City, you've got to hire him. And they said, yeah, but what? I don't understand. Like, I need to see some tape or something. I said, did you ever see on the Dana Carvey show the waiters who are nauseated by food? And the executive producer, Melon Sperberg, said, is he the other waiter? I said, yes. Hire him! And that's what, because for 6 months I kept on saying to them, hire Steve Carell. And literally that's all they needed to know. Was like, that's when we were watching it backstage, we both looked at that and I said, our careers belong to that sketch. That sketch is so dumb and it opens so many doors for us. That sketch got me my gig on The Daily Show. And that's the one that got you the gig on The Daily Show. I said, oh, it's that guy.
Well,
yeah,
but I'm very thankful that you were in my corner.
Thanks, Steve. I'm sure you'll do something nice for me one day too. Well, no, you also did work for me in Carvey. I mean, I think they were like teetering that weekend over Carvey, and you said, no, he's great.
Yeah, that's what I
did. So we're at The Daily Show. That's The Daily Show. When is that? When did you start?
99, 98.
Were you ever in the... 99, were you with John?
Yes.
Yeah, then it was 99, because he started in January of 99.
Yes.
And then there was a different show when it started.
I remember when you were telling me about it, you said, well, first of all, in order to preserve your soul, you have to assume a character. You have to, which I thought was the best advice ever, you have to make yourself the butt of the joke. Because we're going out there, and this is shooting fish in a barrel. A lot of these people are undeserving of this kind of attention, and they just might be unique or eccentric.
Or mentally ill.
And to be able to walk away at the end of the day feeling okay about yourself, and not feeling like you're doing it completely at someone else's expense, you have to assume a character. And I thought that was the greatest advice.
I believe I said 2 other things. One is, don't be afraid to go like completely for it out there, because remember, it's all going to be edited.
Right.
And if you trust your producer, you'll be able to say, no, that's not funny, that's just mean, take that out. Or that's not fair to that person. And the other thing was, oh, you're going to want to get a nice hanger. to put your soul on before you sit down and talk to the person. Because if you put it on a wire hanger, it'll have those points in the shoulders of your soul when you take it off, because you don't want to get your soul, you don't want to get the stuff on your soul, because dry cleaning, yes, we'll get it out, but after a while your soul gets kind of shiny if you dry clean it too much.
It's a hard job.
It was a hard job. Going out and do those field pieces was really hard.
Well, there's no job description for it, because you're sort of an actor, kind of, and
You are assuming a character, and I think the best people who've done it over there are going out in character.
Yeah, I think so. I think you have to pretend you're someone else, but no one, the weird thing is that no one else knows you're doing a character. At least
back in those days.
Back in those days.
Back in those days, no one knew what the Daily Show was.
No.
What did you say? You said, what's the Daily Show?
It is a cable news program.
Yeah, it's an alternate news program. We take a different look at the news. What channel are you on? I don't know what channel it is on your cable box. It's 45 where I'm from. But if they said what network, I would say Comedy Central.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they pressed it, you know.
Did you ever get sued or anything like that?
No, you got into way more trouble than I did. You were so brave. I admired you.
That's a strong word, Steve.
Ballsy. You took such chances, and in my mind, I mean, I emulated you on that show because you approached it with such seriousness, even though it was a comedy, obviously, and it was to have fun, to make people laugh. There is a, you know, talking about people's dark sides, there's a side to you that wants to get a point across, and there's an importance there, and it's something that I so value and respect in you, that you would go out and you would go toe to toe with people who could have you killed because you were making a point and you were shining a light on intolerance and injustice and ignorance, and that to me is really where the show was at its best, was when you were doing things like that. You were so far out on a limb. I mean, you could speak to this better than I could, but there were some, I heard some stories about you and some neo-Nazis that got a little...
Yeah. We had some plans. I had to run away from some Klan members.
Did you do a talking head in front of...
We were supposed to do these IDs, station IDs. They wanted us to do station IDs when we were places where we'd go, hi, I'm Steve Carell, or I'm Steve Colbert, and this is Comedy Central. And you would do it in front of some location now because they wanted me for those stations. And I was covering a Klan rally, and they didn't know who I was. And I had some support at their expense. And I forgot that we hadn't told them that I was a comedian. And they invited me. They really thought I got them. I seemed like a good joke. And hey, listen, man, we're gonna have a little thing out in the country. You want to come? So this is in Pulaski, Tennessee, which is the home of the Klan, where it was founded by Nathan Bedford Forrest. And I go, sure, let's go. So we go out to the country, and they've shaved this field, and they've got 3 crosses burning in the field. And I'm like, let's roll some cameras. and interviews there and everything. I said, this would be a great, like, summertime kicker, like, travel ID, kind of like, hey, if you're looking for someplace to go this summer. So I forget that I'm not supposed to tell people that you're doing comedy, so I stand in front of these crosses and I go, I'm Stephen Colbert, and I look up at the burning cross and I go, this is Comedy Central. Hoping they'll put it on the air, because back then they would have. They would have put it on back there because they had nothing to lose, because we were getting like a 0.2. Like a fraction of what we get now. And they, next thing I knew, I turned around and there were a bunch of guys in hoods and liquor on their breasts going, what did you just say? Comedy what? And I'm completely surrounded, and I go, you probably don't want to talk to my producer. Kiara Anderson. Kiara came across the field and said, what's the problem? I said, these gentlemen don't know that we're from Comedy Central. And I just mentioned that we were. She's like at the time, she's like a 26-year-old woman, tall blonde, we call her Chewbacca. And she goes, guys, go talk to the president of the Klan. He's right over there. He knows all about it. And they went, we will. And they would walk away. She goes, haul ass! there was another guy named Whitney Brown who worked there at the time, and I was so scared that I signed off on the piece later by saying, "We've had some fun with the Klan tonight, but I think, though they have a history of violence, they know how to take a joke." For The Daily Show, I'm Whitney Brown. But the greatest moment on The Daily Show, the thing that really turned the corner on The Daily Show, was when you went on McCain's bus. This was during the 2008 summit. All the difference in the world is that we'd like gone to New Hampshire, we'd done a few things, gone to Iowa, we'd covered a few things. John was still finding his ways, like how do we turn this into like a real satirical tool? And they had some Daily Show coats and everything, and they sent you on to John McCain's bus, who for some reason said, "Yeah, come on board." This is the original Straight Talk Express. And tell the good people what happened. It's a lovely story.
So I'm speaking with Mr. McCain, and you know what? I think he was very cool about it. I think he understood the gist of what we were going for. At the end of and I kept it very light. You know, if you were a tree, what kind of tree? And he was loving that. You know, this is funny and silly, and I love it.
Yeah.
I'm connecting with the kids. And then at the very end, I asked him a question about campaign finance form. And
it was actually, I've actually watched it recently.
Oh.
It was, you were a warrior against pork barrel politics, but your committee actually approves more pork comes out of your committee than any other committee in Congress.
That's right.
How do you square that with your supposed opposition to line up to what's it called? What is pork? Like that.
It was pork.
Yeah.
I asked him about pork.
Yeah.
And he blanched. It was silence. It's really the whole interview hinged on that moment. That's what we were hoping, is to just get a moment where he looked bewildered.
And it's absolutely, all of the people around him freeze. He freezes. And you just stare at him, waiting for an answer. And then you say,
"I'm just kidding, I don't even know what I'm talking about."
I didn't. Oh, really?
And the Daily Show changed.
It was on in 08.
Because John went, "Oh yeah, just keep being the idiot, and you can keep asking questions that the other people aren't asking them."
Right.
And John, and I agree, that is the moment that changed what the Daily Show did.
What year was that? I don't think so.
We went to the first press conference after the first debate up there, and no one knew of the Daily Show, and we were sort of mingling with the other correspondents, and we started asking questions of the candidates. But all of the questions were from Trivial Pursuit cards.
Was that right that John, was he on stage, or was it, that was 2004.
That was the first one. And Rock got asked about, and again, McCain. And McCain handled it great, I have to say. He asked him a Trivial Pursuit question about like a Norwegian pop artist that, you know, I don't know the specifics of it. And McCain paused for a minute, and one of his handlers whispered something, and he said, "Bjork." And it was correct. Exactly right. That's fantastic. And so he was, I had to respect him. He like adapted, whereas Bush.
Not so much.
What are they saying? Not so much. What are they saying?
It's John for Rosewater. Not Rosewater, that's John. What is it with you people?
Rosewater is a fantastic
movie. You gotta go see it tonight. Rosewater's a fantastic movie, but John is now, he accomplished something as a director which surprised everybody.
Yeah.
And people will be very surprised by your performance in Foxcatcher. I am not, because I know that you're an actor. I've always known that you're an actor. People might perceive you as a comedian. What do you think the difference is between being a comedian and being an actor?
Pretentiousness.
Well, at least you pronounce all the letters in your name. I'm saving all the T's for a very special day. I don't know, but
between a comedian,
yeah.
I think of a comedian as someone who can do stand-up, someone who can singularly make a group of people laugh. I've never thought that was a strong point of mine. I like you, I enjoy working with an ensemble. I like creating characters. I like working on scripts, and that's really where my interest is always been.
Well, I don't want to give away too much of the movie, but the character you play, John DuPont, is both a disturbed and disturbing character, a very lonely person. You have played I'd say a lonely person in The Office. You're sort of a lonely person in the 40-year-old version. Trouble communicating his emotional needs at times, or physical needs. What was familiar about John DuPont to you? Because it is a bizarre character.
Yeah.
Disturbing, possibly empty inside, or possibly just too dark to share with other people. Was there anything familiar about the character to you? Because I know that you didn't have to audition for it. And you said, yeah, Steve Carell. That upset you that you didn't have to audition for it?
I want you to just keep asking questions.
I'm waiting for one that seems appropriate.
I didn't campaign for the part. I didn't know anything about it, and it didn't seem like it was a part that I would be on anyone's short list for. It doesn't seem like something that I'd be right to do. I read the script, I met with the director. He clearly felt that I was emotionally disturbed. I think we talked about it very seriously. We talked about who this man was. He grew up surrounded by great wealth and very little love and affection. It's heartbreaking. It's tragic.
Vanessa Redgrave has like 12 words in the entire movie.
Yeah.
But the communication between you and her is enormous. Your need, her not understanding you, her not knowing how to communicate with you.
By all accounts, DuPont's mother was a pretty chilly woman. So these things are documented, and he grew up essentially by himself on this enormous estate with an unloving mother. And
one of the most heartbreaking lines in the entire movie, and I hope I'm not giving anything away, is that he says he found out when he was 16 that his mother had been paying the chauffeur's son to be his friend.
Right. His best friend, he found out, had been hired to be his best friend. So even there, when you feel the floor coming out from under you, you can't forgive the things that someone does, but I think you can empathize with who they are and what built them, what made them the way they are.
I know that you're capable of very dark comedy. When you improvise, we did 8 shows a week, improvise 6 nights a week or something for years together. A lot of things come out because you're looking for anything. You're looking for a character to inhabit anything. You have to do whatever the scene requires. I know you're capable of pretty dark comedy. Did it, at any moment, was it a temptation to make it funny? Because just a half a click just off of True North with that character or that film could have been a comedy.
No, I never thought about it, and I think some of the scenes actually resonate with people comedically, and which was a complete surprise, because when you're doing it, you're not thinking that it's necessarily funny. It's just where this guy is and what these people are doing. And I think the fact that it is so absurd. The story itself is so absurd. It's this guy, he's extremely wealthy, DuPont, heir to the fortune, and he is a fan of wrestling. So he decides to create a wrestling training facility on his estate. And
A world-class facility.
World-class, and he wants to invite all of the American Olympic wrestlers there to train and install himself as head coach, knowing nothing about wrestling. Exactly. I mean, when you hear it, you think that could be a comedy, but
it comes so close at times to being comedy.
Bennett Miller,
because it's so absurd.
It's so absurd,
and no one questions it. Like all the people around him just take care of what he wants.
Right.
The wrestlers need the facility, they need the opportunity, so they just go along.
Everyone turns a blind eye, which again, it's a great tragedy because you see it heading a certain direction, and you know that it's going to happen. You know?
And his violence, I mean, there is violence in the film, not to give away the ending, but there's violence in the film, and it's a historical event. And I remember when it happened back in the day, because it was such a strange thing. You know, the Schultz brothers, who were both wrestlers in the '84 games in Los Angeles, and those were the rah-rah America. That was when it was Morning in America and Reagan. The very first line of the movie is, I want to talk about the United States. And then there's an echo of that sort of thing at the end of the movie. And in it, DuPont is violent in the movie, but he's violent with his money. He forces people, like the brother Dave doesn't want to come. The brother Mark Schultz and Dave Schultz. And Mark says, you can't buy Dave to him. But eventually he buys Dave.
Right.
And that's an act of violence. He dominates people who, they don't question what he does. He changes their lives, and in the case of Mark, ruins them.
But it's the only power that he possesses. You know?
Is the force of his money.
Exactly.
Did you improvise any of it?
A lot, yeah. Actually.
Did you improvise philanthropists, philatelists, ornithologists?
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved it. Were you improvising? What were some of the scenes that you remember improvising?
Well, you know, not to take anything away from the script because it was great.
You kind of wrote it.
Sometimes we would take the script, we would improvise, come back to the script, do it as written. Other days we completely pull it apart and just improvise, and sometimes that was just a tool to figure out who these characters were and what the relationship was.
Did you wrestle?
No.
Your hockey was your thing.
Hockey was my thing.
Did you have a coach that meant particularly a lot to you?
Yeah, I had several coaches through the years.
And you coach now?
I don't. No, I've never coached.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you'd be a great coach.
Thanks.
Teach me how to play hockey, Steve. We want to take some of your questions. But the first thing I want to do is I want to show you the scene that we did.
Oh, yeah.
Called Maya. You ready for that?
Yes.
I want to show you the scene. It's about 8 minutes long. And so I hope you like it. What you're about to see is pretty much word for word what we improvised the first time we did it. And as I said before, that's the first time that ever happened to me, that an improvised scene just went straight into a show. And it's the last time it ever happened. And the thing that's oddest about it was that the whole cast is in it. So let's take a look.
I saw this.
Yeah, I just love my hometown. I don't know if this happens to you, but when I'm home, you know, everything's different when I'm at home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people treat me differently. I feel differently. It's just great.
Yeah. Same thing happens to me.
You get some meat? A train ride going down.
Shirley! Shirley Wentworth!
Missy?
It's me, Missy!
Missy Kensington! Oh Lord, how are you grown?
I have 2 children of my own now, Shirley. I named my girl Shirley and my boy Wentworth.
Well, I'm twice blessed.
You know, my mama, she passed away last fall.
Honey, I'm so sorry.
You were always like a second mama to me.
This is my friend, Steve. Steve, this is Missy Kensington.
Hi, nice to meet you. Please come by the house today and meet the children.
I surely will.
I love you.
I love you.
Oh, bye.
God love you.
What's that about?
She's an old friend.
Shirley Wentworth?
Oh, I forgot to tell you. When I'm home, I'm an old black woman.
They told me you were back. Oh, time has been so good to you, Shirley. The lines of age, the lines, they've not shown on your beautiful black skin.
Absolutely. You were the one who gave me the courage all those years ago in my despair to write my poetry. What is it you said? God is in everything. In the rocks, and the trees, and the stones, as surely as He's in the blood in our veins.
Coursing towards the heavens. Oh, you have overcome many and many trials and tribulations, Shirley. You have not let the barriers of color or sex stand in your way.
This is my friend Steve. She was my first teacher. Hi.
Shut up, what?
Miss Cecilia.
I think the moment I heard you were in town, my husband, the mayor, and I, we'd like you to come by the library tomorrow. We'd like to rededicate it in your honor. Would you do a little reading? Sing a little. Oh, you have not heard the gospel until you've heard Shirley sing. I will not take no for an answer, and you must come by my house at 4:30 for tea.
Can I bring my friend Steve?
Absolutely. Oh, darling, we are so proud of you. We have followed you on every step of your journey, for you have put us on the map.
I'm proud of my hometown and everybody in it.
Come on, Miss Rachel, 4:30. I'll give you a ride. Oh, God bless you, child. God bless you, Shirley. And very nice meeting you, Sarah.
Like this.
No! There's nothing like this! I want to go home and like suddenly become an old Chinese guy!
Why
Because they went worse.
Nathan, is that you?
You're a doctor.
How can I forget you?
I feel like I'm dying, going straight to heaven, like all my dreams have come true. Certainly you've come back to accept my marriage proposal.
You can't think I can accept you. No, I can't do that. This town would never accept a marriage between a white man and an old black woman.
We move.
Your roots are here, Nathan.
I pull them out like an onion.
Shrivel up raisin in the sun.
All I know is my life would be so fulfilled if you give me your hand and... Who's your lovely friend?
This is Steve. Steve, this is Nathan. The finest man I know.
Say, I'll call on you later.
Whatever you think best, Nathan.
I'd better
great guy.
Hello, Raymond. Shirley Whitworth. Hello, Shirley. I figured you must be back in town because I woke up this morning with a strange feeling my property value had dropped.
Come on, Raymond.
You ain't showing your face around here, Shirley. You ain't got no right. You just pulled up your roots and ran.
I had to leave, Raymond, because of men like you. Shallow men, empty men, white sepulchres full of corruption.
Yeah, yeah! You're racist! How long are we gonna sit at the back of the bus? Drinking the same water fountain as you! I'm so confused!
Good afternoon. I am somebody. Somebody. I am somebody. Somebody. I am Sarah. This is gonna be hard for me. I am Sarah. Brown. Old black woman. Black woman. We all, everyone, have to come home again. Some of us were born on the bottom. We lived on the bottom.
I know that was long. I just wanted y'all to see it. We haven't done it in a long time. That was the favorite scene I think I ever did. There. Right before we went on stage, Steve said to me the first time we improvised it, it had come from two things we were trying to improvise. One was me going home and I'd be different, and the other one was I wanted to be an old black woman because I was reading a lot of Maya Angelou's at the time. I was listening to she had just done the Clinton inaugural, and I was listening to a lot of Sweet Honey in the Rock. And I said, my director said, why don't you be both? Why don't you be, put the old black woman and you're different when you're home together. I said, okay, I will try to do it when we get up there. And right before we walked on, he said, I'm going to be as small as I can. Because that's the amazing thing, that everybody knows how big you could be. And you made this really fantastic choice. Like all of the laughs, you just got then, you got now, and you got then. So many of them were how little you were doing. And I think one of the great things about you is that you continued to challenge yourself over the years to not do the same thing that you just did. So congratulations on Foxcatcher, because it's just more Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, Steve, for all the money. This is from Christine Fay.
No, not for her.
Okay. All right. Christine Fay, do you miss the days when you were on the Daily Show, especially this Even Steven, and were those improvised?
You know, I will. No, they were not improvised.
No, we wrote those hard.
Yes. Yes.
We worked hard on those writings.
I'll tell you the thing I miss most is working with Stephen Colbert. Because I don't know. I feel like we're kindred spirits in a lot of ways. I've always looked to Stephen, and I know, I don't know.
We were lucky to keep working with each other over and over again, and hired, we just would end up in an office next to each other. It's really been great.
I don't know. You don't want to get sentimental about it, but
I sure do want to get sentimental about it. I do, but I'm not going to go on. Now you go do movies, man. You left me on TV alone. We're on TV, you're all doing
your life sucks. I miss Stephen Colbert.
I miss Steve Carell.
I do.
They're a lot of fun.
I really do.
They're a lot of fun together.
He is one of the smartest, nicest, most talented people I have ever met. Seriously.
Why do you think The Daily Show produced so many performers doing so many other things? So many other great things elsewhere? Because it's been turned into a bit of a mill.
Maybe it is what we were talking about before. Maybe the fact that you can't really define the job description. Because
you have to find your own way to do it.
You do.
Everybody starts out kind of doing one of the other people, but has to find their own game.
You have to figure it out because you're.
And John demands it of you.
He is very demanding.
Well, he's doing the best, you know, because he doesn't let himself off the hook at all.
No, he doesn't.
That was from Christine Albanese McGrath. Thank you, Christine. Excellent question. Let's see. This is for me. Oh, this is a good one.
Do you want me to read it?
How much of the show, I'm wondering, listen, having watched the show, yeah, sure. Read that.
Having watched the show for some time, I'm wondering how much of yourself do you draw on for your persona? How much of you is in him?
You know what? I can't wait to find out. I am not taking the character to CBS, and I'm curious what that really means, because I think the real difference is that I'm not that political of a person. I like the behavior of people. I'm not that interested in politics, and I get less and less interested in it every day. But I'm a pundit. I play a pundit, and that is his milieu. That's what he talks about all the time, and he believes he's part of that world. Like O'Reilly, my character believes that I'm more powerful. There is no lame duck for me like there is for Obama. And so that's why I based my character in large part on something that Bill O'Reilly said to President Bush in 2005. I saw him do an interview, and he turned to the most powerful man in the world, and he said, you know, guys like us, we see the world. That's it, guys like us. That's it.
He did, he said
I don't
that.
think that of myself, but I do like jokes, and so you'll notice when I don't do them in character, how much of me will be familiar. Hopefully it'll only be the jokes, not the jerk.
I, for one, am extremely excited to see. And I don't think America knows quite what to expect with you in this new job description, but...
you know, I'm really just a hoofer, Steve.
I know.
I'm just a hoofer.
Would you like to show us a little?
Well... only if you do that tumbling routine you were famous for. How about a song? Want a song? Sure. Okay, we'll do a song in just 1 second. Let's do a couple more of these. The good people fill us up. This is for both of us. If you were not in the careers, if you were not doing what you're doing now, what would you be doing?
I'd be up there watching this. I know, I'd be teaching.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I would be teaching. What would you teach? I would teach history and I would coach lacrosse.
Why do you have to do...
I thought about it. I really didn't know. This was a backup plan for a long time.
History, history and lacrosse.
Yeah.
All right. If I were not doing what I'm doing now, I think I would be doing time. Skills. I have no other skills or a moral compass. Let's see. Well, this one I could fit. Here's one. Okay, this one is, would you give us a song? Would you give us a song?
Sure.
Okay. How about our national anthem?
I think we should.
Okay.
You sang that with Fallon, too.
Yeah, we would open shows with this.
Yeah, if we were doing something like we took the show, like I think we took the show to Philly or took the show to Los Angeles, we would we'd go up there and do the national anthem because we both knew harmonies to it and that sort of thing. Just like we can't get Anchors Away Out of Your Head, I'll never get this harmony out of my head. And shall we do the warm-up or should we do the...
He doesn't sing it the way he...
I will follow your lead.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's lights last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets singing out came through the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the national anthem. Please check out the Montclair Film Festival information in your program. We do this for fun, but we also do it, or I do it, because it's a wonderful, wonderful event. We hope to see you in May. Good night, everybody.
Yeah.